Hey guys, Scott Sullivan here with Bam Bam Martial Arts. If you are thinking about trying Jiu Jitsu, if you're kind of searching around for martial arts and you're thinking about trying Jiu Jitsu lessons, then I want to highly encourage you to watch this video because I want to tell you everything you need to know about it. So first of all, what is Jiu Jitsu? Well, Jiu Jitsu is a grappling-based martial art. It focuses on takedowns, groundwork, holding pins, submissions. It is a grappling-based martial art that gives you a lot of benefits. There are a lot of benefits to this kind of training. Now, of course, when we're talking about the benefits of martial arts, the first thing that typically comes to people's minds is self-defense, and that is an important consideration. Now, naturally, peaceful people don't go out trying to pick fights, right? If you're a peaceful, law-abiding citizen, that's not what you do. However, sometimes you become a target, right? Sometimes the fight picks you. And if you're ever forced into that situation, if you're ever forced to physically defend yourself against evil people, someone who's bigger and stronger than you are, then Jiu-Jitsu is the martial art you need to know, and there are several reasons why. First off, Jiu-Jitsu teaches a simple 4-step strategy when dealing with physical confrontations. Step 1, distance management. When you are confronted with an attacker, we teach students to stay a safe 2 arm lengths away from the attacker so that they can kind of stay away from their punches and yet still be close enough to take them down when the opportunity arises. Step 2 is take him down. The reason why is because human explosive power is grounded in the legs, right? Think of a shot putter or a boxer trying to perform their sport on their knees, right? It wouldn't work. There's no explosive power there, right? It's the same thing with an attacker. You're faced with an attacker and you can take him down and put him on his back. You really have dramatically decreased his chances of hurting you. Step 3, establish a dominant position. Here we get past the attacker's legs and establish some kind of control or dominant position where we can attack our attacker, but he can't attack us back. This is a much more intelligent way to fight than just trying to stand up on your feet and duke it out with someone who's bigger and stronger than you are. And finally, step 4, we end the conflict with some kind of submission. This is where we end the fight with like a chokehold or an arm lock, something like that. And the advantage here is that this is a much more effective and decisive way for a smaller person to beat a larger and stronger attacker. You see, those punches and kicks, they work great on people who are your size or smaller, but Jiu-Jitsu, it works on everybody, you see, so it doesn't matter. So you can literally win a fight without ever even throwing a punch. So that's the basic, Jiu-Jitsu strategy. And the good thing about it is it's not just theory. It's been proven. Jiu-Jitsu works. It's been shown time and time again, and you can really test it out for yourself. You see, when we train in Jiu-Jitsu, you can go 100% with your partner. You can try as hard as you want. He can try as hard as he wants, and you can do it safely and really see what works. If a move works, you keep it. If it doesn't work, you throw it out, so you can kind of test various hypotheses and see what really does work. And this is very important because you can kind of weed out all the stuff that doesn't and keep the stuff that does in fact work. And so Jiu-Jitsu is scientific in the sense that you can learn a move and then go out and safely test it out against an opponent who is resisting 100%, you see. And so, Jiu-Jitsu has been kind of developing in this lab of the mats for a long time, and it's very effective for this reason. And a lot of people think, well, if I get into a fight, I'll just throw this big punch and knock the bad guy out. That's probably not going to happen. You see, there is this common misconception that if I get into a match, I'm just going to use these striking skills. Well, what people don't know is that actual fights have shown that punching is not nearly as effective as closing the distance, getting into a clinch, taking a man down, and controlling your opponent from there. That's why many law enforcement agencies and military personnel now are learning the techniques of Jiu-Jitsu. So that's why in Jiu-Jitsu we specialize in ground grappling. Real fights are not like the movies, not like the martial arts movies where you can do those flying kicks. That's not what happens, okay? In real life, what happens is 2 guys will get into a scuffle, maybe a punch or 2 is thrown, but then after that, they lock up and they fall on the floor. And when you know Jiu-Jitsu, it really is easy to beat a person on the ground. The techniques and the leverage there, it really does enable someone, empower someone to dominate an attacker, even if they're bigger and stronger than they are. So when you learn Jiu-Jitsu, you are mastering the area of ground fighting. Okay, that's the key area in most real-life fights. As one famous jiu-jitsu teacher put it, when you know jiu-jitsu, the ground is the ocean, you are the shark, and most people don't know how to swim. Now, another good thing about jiu-jitsu when it comes to self-defense is that jiu-jitsu allows for degrees of force. This is a big legal benefit here because smashing someone's face in is not the only answer for someone, right? Not all situations call for a knee to the face or a kick in the head, right? Sometimes maybe you're just with a friend or a co-worker who's had too much to drink, and just striking is not appropriate in that situation. Like I said, when you know jiu-jitsu, you can win a fight without ever having to throw a punch. You can take someone down, you can hold them there, just negotiate, you can put them in a submission lock and negotiate, or you can go all the way and use strikes and the most lethal and maiming grappling moves. So jiu-jitsu covers the whole spectrum of force here. It allows you to apply the appropriate level of force given the situation. Another important factor is that jiu-jitsu enables smaller and weaker people to beat bigger and stronger people. Size, it always matters, but it's not the only factor, okay? A lot of times it's technique, and jiu-jitsu is designed to use technique and leverage to overcome size and strength, and like I said, it really does work. So for self-defense alone, if you had to learn only one martial art for self-defense, the one you're going to want to learn is jiu-jitsu. But, that's not the only benefit of jiu-jitsu. There are a lot more things that people don't always think about. For example, jiu-jitsu is a fantastic workout. Jiu-jitsu training is typically more rigorous than other martial arts. The training can be intense. Any session, you're going to get cardio, you're going to get whole body work, flexibility, coordination. You're going to strengthen your core, you're going to gain muscle, lose fat. So everything from the warm-up, the drills, all that stuff, it's a fun, fantastic workout that's going to leave you sweating and smiling. So, when you train in jiu-jitsu, not only are you learning some of the best self-defense techniques in the world, but you're also getting a great workout too. Another important aspect is mental toughness, right? Jiu-jitsu teaches you mental toughness. It's just not easy. You have to come in and train with people. Maybe they know more than you do. Maybe they are bigger than you are. And you have to make a habit of facing your fears and going through with it anyway. And that's what life is all about. That's what mental toughness is, facing fears and overcoming them. So you really do develop this habit of mental toughness from this training as well. Now, another thing is jiu-jitsu is a great stress reliever. If you ever looked at pictures of people who have just got done training in jiu-jitsu, you're going to see them smiling and laughing and just having a great time. And that's because jiu-jitsu, it's an excellent way to alleviate stress. Anytime you're upset with your boss at work or as a co-worker, whatever, you come in onto the mats, it's like therapy for a lot of people. It really is. It really is a great stress reliever. You get to go, grapple with someone, grapple with your friends, hang out, and it just takes away a lot of your stress. It just, all those worries you had when you walked onto the mat, they go away when you start grappling. So you're going to find that after a good, hard jiu-jitsu session, it's really an outlet for you. It's a place where you can go and relieve stress. It's kind of like a mini vacation from your cubicle. It's kind of a way to escape from all the day-to-day struggles and just go have fun and see how all your problems just go away. Now, another important benefit of jiu-jitsu is that it's a great way to build confidence. It's just, there's something about going in and getting good at something as difficult as jiu-jitsu. It just really does build you up. You've learned how to kind of overcome little struggles. You've gained certain little victories. And over time, those things accumulate. Growing in jiu-jitsu helps you believe in yourself. You have a proven history of overcoming little struggles on the mat, and that translates well over into life. Another important benefit of jiu-jitsu training is that it's mentally engaging. It's been compared to chess, and the reason why is because you're constantly learning new moves. You're faced with problems, and there are techniques you have to learn to overcome those problems. And there are techniques that counter those techniques. So the number of cool techniques you have to learn never really ends. It becomes like a game of chess. I know this move, I do this, that guy does that, and so it really is intellectually stimulating. You do get this sort of intellectual joy of learning, and it's never the same old, same old. It's always something new, always something fun and engaging, and it never gets boring. Now, another great thing about jiu-jitsu, it's just a great way to meet friends. When you go out there and you train in jiu-jitsu, there's a certain kind of bond that happens there on the mat that it's hard to beat. I've seen so many great relationships and friendships being built because they got started on the mats. And the friends you're going to make on the mats, it's just something that it's just hard to compare to anything else. something about the rolling around on the ground trying to attack each other is something that really brings people together, you know. And so it's this social aspect of jiu-jitsu that I think is really important. You know, you meet all kinds of people, you end up being friends and even doing stuff outside the school, going to dinners together, potlucks, graduation ceremonies, whatever, but you really do get to meet these people that you wouldn't have met otherwise from all walks of life, because people who train in jiu-jitsu, they come from all walks of life. You know, doctors, attorneys, lawyers, teachers, housewives, moms, whatever. It just attracts all kinds of people, and you really do bond together when you have been training together on the mats. Now, another important benefit of jiu-jitsu is that it really builds your self-esteem. You know, I know coming into a school for the first time can be kind of intimidating or scary, but you get over that. You know, you come in and you meet some people, and, you know, if it's a school like ours, we're really friendly, so it's a very welcoming environment. And so you get over that hurdle, and then as you train in jiu-jitsu, you overcome other hurdles too. You get other little victories. You accumulate this kind of a personal list of little wins. Maybe it's you learned how to get out of a headlock. Maybe you got your next belt or whatever. But it's this accumulation of those little personal wins over time that really does build your self-esteem. Also, jiu-jitsu training can develop your mental focus and resolve. You know, when you are training in jiu-jitsu, you're going to be faced with problems, physical problems. A guy's got you in an arm lock or he's holding you down. And you have to focus on the technique, especially under duress, under pressure, right? And so you got to think about, okay, what's the proper move to get out of this? So you got to pay attention to the technique when the instructor shows you, and you got to kind of remember that and think about that again when you're under duress too. So it really does, I think, develop that sort of ability to focus on problems, to think about them under stress or whatever, and that really translates over well into life. Now, another important aspect of jiu-jitsu training is that it really does increase your energy. You know, sitting around on Facebook or watching TV or whatever, that may seem relaxing and recreational, but it's not. It tends to drain your energy. It's been scientifically shown that, of course, physical exercise will increase your overall energy throughout the day. And so this jiu-jitsu training will really give you an outlet where you can come and train and get a great workout, and it really will, I think, give you a lot more energy than you would have had otherwise if you had not come and trained. It's also well known that training in jiu-jitsu will give you more courage, and that's pretty obvious, right? I mean, because courage is nothing else than the habit of facing up to your fears and acting anyway, okay? And so when you come and train in jiu-jitsu, maybe sometimes you're a little nervous about training with this person here. Maybe they're bigger than you are, or maybe they're a little better or whatever, but you do it, and you kind of develop these little habits. You do these little courageous acts, and that builds up over time, and you build a habit of facing your fears and overcoming them. And that's what courage is. So I think jiu-jitsu is a very safe environment, a safe theater in which you can develop this important virtue. Another surprising aspect of jiu-jitsu is that it's been shown to actually make you happier. I know that sounds kind of weird or maybe unusual at first, but you should consider what Dr. David Lay has said in Psychology Today, where he's actually a student of jiu-jitsu and a psychologist. And he's shown that grappling with people, being in close proximity with other human beings, actually causes us to release a hormone called oxytocin. This increases our happiness, it increases our sense of satisfaction with life. And so he concluded that jiu-jitsu actually makes us happier in this way. Now finally, and probably the most important aspect of jiu-jitsu, is that it's a lot of fun. It is highly addictive, okay? There's something about just coming in and rolling with people. It's just a ton of fun. And actually, surveys have shown that the number one reason why people train and continue in jiu-jitsu is because it's so much doggone fun. And I think that's really important, because the more fun an activity is, the more likely it is you're going to do it. Unlike, ellipticals or jogging on the treadmill, all that stuff. This is the kind of thing that's fun and engaging, and so therefore the more you're going to want to do it, and therefore the more you're going to get all those other benefits too. So hopefully that gives you a good overview of what jiu-jitsu is and how it can help you. And if you want to try it out, give us a call. We're happy to have you. I know it can be a little intimidating sometimes, you know, to call a martial arts school. People are afraid they're going to look silly or they're going to get beat up. None of those things are going to happen. I promise you, we are a safe, professional, beginner-friendly environment. You know, we're very supportive of beginners. So give us a call. You can come in, just try some free classes, no obligation. Just try it out and see for yourself the life-changing aspects of jiu-jitsu.